the Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, you know, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
If you look around, you'll see the world can be pretty smart. Okay, very smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. That's why we're reshaping online learning with our FlexPath format. You can set your own deadlines, take classes at your own pace, even leverage your previous experience to move faster. So when it comes to earning your bachelor's degree, you know what kind of choice to make. A smart one. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn, learn smarter.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what are you guys up to?
Oh, little weed, you know.
It's the Weedsman Podcast Nugget.
Zippity what?
Ready to drop the bass? Let's drop the bass.
Whoop-de-doo. What does it all mean?
All the random stuff that didn't fit in Friday's show you'll find here.
Oh, okay.
Hey, man. You got a joint?
Got a little bit of reef rice along on your board?
What that mean?
Please, just give me my weed, all right?
I got to share this story with you that I was reading. This website that I got it from is called The Conversation. Academic rigor, journalistic flair. That's their motto, I guess, that they have underneath their headline.
What was it? What's that?
The Conversation. And they describe themselves as academic rigor, journalistic flair.
That's obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's like stuff other people are supposed to call you. That's like giving yourself your own nickname.
But I was drawn to the story about a U.S. pastor who was talking about climate change. His name's John MacArthur, Grace Community Church in Sun Valley, California, which this journal with traditional journalistic flair, The Conversation describes this church as the COVID-denying, law-defying Grace Community Church, which has encouraged worshipers to congregate as normal despite state COVID-19 restrictions. He's got a study Bible that sold almost 2 million copies. That's not chicken feed. They have some excerpts from his speech about global warming. See if you can follow the logic on this one. In his sermon, MacArthur paraphrases a scientist at Caltech, I guess that's what he's calling a scientist. He says that he's quoting a Caltech scientist, when in fact he's actually quoting the novelist Michael Crichton from Jurassic Park. Michael Crichton's like a big writer. He sold millions and millions of books, billions probably. And Jurassic Park's got to be one of his best-selling. So, but I guess he's counting on his constituent. He doesn't have constituents. It's a religion. What does he have? He has his flock. He's counting on his flock not being that literate beyond the Bible and his own study Bible. So here's the quote is, "Consensus science is the first refuge of scoundrels, invoked only in situations where there is a political, social, financial agenda, but no scientific support." I can only imagine that the character that was speaking those lines in Jurassic Park, it's been a long time since I read it, is a complete idiot because he contradicts himself in that statement. Like, consensus science is scientific support. That's how we support science. That's an Ouroboros of a statement right there.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that statement. I'm trying to think, like, how is he... What? That's not how this works.
If that's got you thrown for a loop, let's see. He says, here's the key, friends. This is the real deal. He's going to lay it out for us. Legitimate science recognizes a close correlation between sunspots and climate change. The sun is the source of temperature changes because of its infrared variations. There is absolutely no evidence that CO2 contributes to warming. There's a lot of evidence.
Dude, there's tons of evidence. Have you ever been in a greenhouse?
On the contrary, the opposite is true. warming produces CO2. It's the other way around. So he's saying that there's more CO2 in the air because the Earth is getting warmer, and that's because of sunspots, not anything man is doing. So he's trying to he's not even trying to God his way out of this argument. He's trying to science his way out of it, which is not his strongest tool. He goes on to further science this with, by the way, plants produce CO2. What man produces is marginal. Industry doesn't affect CO2 in the environment or atmosphere.
I feel like we could do this like a kindergarten problem that has like a pictures and a plus and a minus thing.
We do know that. I mean, this is elementary school stuff, that plants take in the CO2 that we exhale, and they turn that into oxygen that we inhale. That is the symbiotic system.
Yeah.
That is the marvel of nature.
That's why people kind of freak out when forestry starts disappearing.
Right. So emitting CO2, this was news to me. I had to actually look it up. It's true. Plants do put out some CO2, but that pales in comparison to the amount of oxygen that they put into the air. It's a negligible amount. I mean, I think in the same way that when we exhale, we don't process all the oxygen that goes into our lungs.
No,
we
our blood takes some of it.
A percentage of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, it just gets exhaled out.
Well, that too.
Like we take in oxygen, we turn it into CO2, exhale that, but some of what we exhale is also oxygen.
Is this person a doctor, or he's just a pastor?
He's just a pastor.
Gotcha.
So he's not done yet, though.
So tell me, not a doctor, pastor. Tell me more.
This is all political and financial agendas, class warfare, class envy. By the way, the U.S. $100 billion has been spent to make a case for global warming, driven by the socialist mentality, even some of the feminist mentality that resents male success. So now it's just political.
I mean,
but here's the capper on all of this nonsense. He finishes off citing Revelations and saying, God intended us to use this planet, to fill this planet for the benefit of man. Never was it intended to be a permanent planet. It is a disposable planet. Christians ought to know that. And
more like
I think that's the plainest. I think that's the plainest I've ever heard it put as to why Christians aren't concerned with global warming traditionally, with climate change, with anything really, any kind of long-term damage to the planet, because they think in their lifetime that Jesus is going to come save them. They've got a ripcord that they can pull.
I mean, this is a paper on science from a guy who believes in an invisible man. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth.
Even if the science is right, our science says that Jesus is coming back before any of that will happen. And if it does happen, it was all meant to happen anyway. It was all God's will.
Huh.
But a disposable planet.
I think more like they said, we're a disposable species. I do not deny climate change. I, on the other hand, think it's very hubristic to think we can do anything either way. Like it's.
But to so liberally bastardize your own precious text. I mean, like I know there's a lot of people take the words of the Bible and twist it to mean whatever they mean. I've read it. I know there's shit in there about how God gave us the earth and he said, be plentiful with it. That shit's in there. He wants us to go out and fucking populate and cultivate and tame and do all that shit. According to the Bible, he wants us to build societies. At no point is he just like, fuck it up. I don't care. Yeah, dude, this thing took me like a day to make.
No, 7 days. No, wait, 6 days.
Yeah, the plant.
Because the seventh day he chilled.
6 days. He made it in one day, and then the rest of the days.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And he made the universe, he made the earth, and then he spent the rest of the 4 days that he had left over decorating.
Yeah, that's right. It was, one day he did the animals, arranging. One day he did the people, one day he did the plants. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to remember my first grade religion class.
But yeah, and God saith unto Adam, shit wherever you want. Adam's like, but the animals are shitting in the corner. Just fuck it up. Just, this is just this is a trial run, okay? I'm not expecting much of this. I've been watching Futurama. And there was the episode where Leela gets coaxed into going to visit a planet that she thinks is going to be her homeworld. Remember the guy who can change shapes, and he convinces that Leela is the only other living creature in her species. This is before she finds out she was an adopted mutant. But anyway, Fry gets imprisoned, and he says that he's in the dungeon, and he's like, Leela, you got to get me out of here. I'm living in my own filth. And Leela's like, he's like, I'm living in my own filth like an animal. And Leela's like, Fry, animals go in the corner. And he's like, the corner? Why didn't I think of that?
That sounds like Fry. It has been a while since I have seen any Futurama.
It holds up, man. It holds up better than most of The Simpsons does, I have to say.
Well, tell you what, South Park holds up too, because I watched an episode of South Park for the first time in probably a half a decade or more. And yeah, it's still just as sharp as it's still just as sharp as ever.
I haven't seen an episode in a long time. It's probably been a few years since I watched a new episode. And with streaming, it's just like I don't even encounter reruns. Did you watch the special that they had on, I don't know if that was just on HBO Max or if that was on Comedy Central?
The pandemic special?
The pandemic special, yeah.
No, what's funny, though, is watching Comedy Central after I haven't watched Comedy Central. I definitely feel like I've aged out of the demographic, for starters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I heard today that the Workaholic guys got their own podcast. I haven't checked it out to see if it's any good.
Ooh.
But that's where your demo's gone, is podcast.
Yeah.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Nya nya nya. Ba. Ba. Babue. Zimbabwe. The broken Bunsen burner burns so bright. Southeast Asian Peninsula.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
I think the only line we need from you today is drivers who switch to progressive could save big.
Cool. I just gotta finish my warm-ups. Foul, throw in the towel. History.
Switch to Progressive today.
Santa ski slalom in a salmon skin suit.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new: our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
I'm finding some actual comedy podcasts. That guy's fucking around with actual comedians, people putting together good jokes or doing some good improv. I managed to find some really good ones. Certainly, any of the stuff that Paul F. Tompkins is involved in, which he does quite a few, is always worth a listen.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Well, Mission to Zizix is one where they have a continuing premise that they improv on each week, all about, it's all sci-fi themed. I'm blanking. Let me pull up my list here. Well, the Neighborhood Listen is another one of the Paul F. Tompkins podcasts that he does that's improvised. I don't know if Super Ego is even still going, if they're going to do another season. I think that might have ended. That's been around for a while, I guess. Super Ego is Tompkins and Mark McConville, Matt Gorley, Jeremy Carter, and that's all improv. So they do like I think they call it Rogue Squadron or something like that, and it's basically just them doing Star Wars. So they'll have like a space battle sound effects going, and they're all talking to each other over the radio.
So again, you're getting in like the radio plays, essentially.
Yeah, that's fully produced. They've got the sound effects for the CB style, with the filtered voices and all the laser blasts and all that shit.
Been hearing a lot of positive word of mouth about the one that you keep telling me about with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett.
Man, well, they had Adam Sandler on the last one. That was a really good show. They had some, I think, baseball pitcher on that I didn't know, but the hosts are funny enough, and their banter with each other is always fun to listen to. So if that was just another bullshit podcast, I'd probably listen to that as well. Who else did they have on here? Let me find them. Clayton Kershaw. That was the.
Oh yeah, he's a big deal.
Oh, okay. Jennifer Aniston, Gustavo Dudamel, who is he's a conductor. Jimmy Kimmel was on there, Maya Rudolph, Robert Downey Jr., Will Ferrell, Kamala Harris, Seth Rogen, Melissa McCarthy, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Dax Shepard.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, they all probably, those 4 dudes, or was it 3 dudes?
3 dudes, it's Sean Hayes, Jason Bateman, and Will Arnett.
Yeah, their agents are probably able to just, between them with all the things they've done, plus their agents.
Their combined, iPhone contact list.
Yeah.
Net 500 episodes easy, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, and Bateman's been around forever. He's been around since he's a little kid, being on Silver Spoons.
Yeah. Wait, he was on Silver Spoons?
Yeah, he was one of Ricky's friends.
Okay.
I think he even got a spinoff. Right. It didn't go so far.
Yeah, there was a spinoff. They mentioned that, I think, on the last episode, that there was a brief spinoff that didn't really go anywhere. He was talking about that transition period that he went through from being a child actor to being an adult actor. In between, we forgot about Jason Bateman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember he was on what was it? The Hogan Family. That's when he was like a teenager. That's when he was
the Hogan Family.
Wasn't he like?
What was he? Was he a main cast member?
Yeah. He was the older brother, and then wasn't he Teen Wolf 2?
Right, but
TOO.
I don't know how well received that movie was.
I'm saying, wasn't he? Wasn't that in the phase? I guess is what I'm saying. In the phase when he was going from kid actor to
right
when he showed.
Yeah, so I guess we did see him pop up occasionally, just not in stuff that ended up being super successful. Well, I don't remember the Hogan Family. How long did that show go for? It seemed like it was around a while.
Stand by. I want to say maybe 3 seasons tops.
I feel like it had to have enough at least to get into syndication. Or else it wouldn't still be in my head.
Oh, wow, yeah. First episode date, March 1, 1986. Final episode date, July 20th, 1991. So it looks like it got just enough to get syndication. I know it started off with Valerie Harper, and then she wanted a bunch of money, and then they fired her, and they said she got killed in a fire, and then they brought in Sandy Duncan, who was like her sister or some shit.
Did they say that, when she just died in between seasons?
It was, no, it wasn't a fire.
Actually...
she got in a car crash or something.
Right, but they didn't, that wasn't the end of season 1. That was season 2 came back, and where's mom? Oh, I guess she's dead. That's a bummer.
There was a lot of allusions to things like the accident, things like that. It was one of those kind of things where there was it recently happened on a show my wife watches, Blue Bloods. They did it with the wife of Mark Wahlberg. They said she died in she was a nurse or something, and she died in some accident on a helipad or something at their hospital or some shit.
The actor says, you can't do this show without me. And they say,
yeah, we fucking can.
Oh, we can. It'll be awkward for about 2 episodes, and then everyone will forget.
Yeah.
No, you better have a catchphrase to get that kind of protection.
Yeah, right.
You got to be Urkel to pull a move like that.
Yeah, and they weren't doing different strokes without fucking Gary Coleman. That shit was not happening.
Oh yeah, can you imagine if it was just Mr. Drummond and the
Willis
kid?
Yeah,
and Willis. That would not fly. It'd be they'd come back and be like, "Oh, it's too bad." What was Gary Coleman's character's name?
Arnold.
Yeah, too bad Arnold passed away in that horrible car wreck. Willis, you got to go live in a home or something. You can't stay here anymore. This is too weird.
Well, on Good Times, right? They killed the dad. They didn't kill JJ because the dad didn't.
What happened to the dad on Good Times?
The dad didn't say dynamite. I think it was another. It was like a car accident or something. or an accident at work. So they did something like that.
I mean, these days they probably would just like scrap the whole show.
Yeah, this person's not coming back. We're fucking done. There's
a lot more turnover, and they wouldn't even. They would just go, okay, this show is going to cost us this much more to make. That's what Netflix keeps butting up against. They invest a relatively small amount of money in a show nobody's heard of. It takes off, then all the actors get really famous, so that they want more money for season 2, and then even more money because they have to renegotiate for season 3. So by the time you get to season 3, that equation of money going in versus going out isn't really balancing the way it was during season 1.
So is that why the streaming formula is 3 seasons and done? Well, at 3 seasons, people want more money, so we're
not going to get another season of Glow, which I think is unfortunate. That's a show that I really enjoyed, but it's also a show that I can only imagine is getting increasingly more expensive to make.
See, we watched season 1. We didn't do season 2 around. I don't think neither of us were into it enough to be like, oh, hey, season 2. Even though I'm a Marc Maron fan.
That first season is super strong, and it wobbles a little bit at the beginning of season 2, but it finds its footing again. And I thought it was kind of a great concept for a show that they could move around a lot of places. They did the season in Vegas. They could have taken the season to the show to another city.
Well, that's just, especially with that concept, yeah. It's like a traveling circus.
I'm not so much bothered by the shorter seasons. It's when it's not planned. There's plenty of examples of there were 3 seasons of The Leftovers?
Yeah.
There was 3 seasons of The Leftovers because there just wasn't, that was the end of the story, right? Leftovers didn't get canceled. That was it. The creator went on to do other stuff. And it's a very British model of television that Netflix is kind of mimicking with that. Only without the forethought.
Well, yeah, they don't tend to beat a dead horse, so to speak, in Britain. Like, what's their version of The Office? 3 seasons, it's over. We went 9. 2 of them without the main star.
They're all 6 episodes long too. They're short seasons.
Mm-hmm. It was all the shows that have been on forever are American shows. With the top 3 shows are The Simpsons, Law and Order, and Gunsmoke.
Yeah. Well, the soap operas. I mean, what's the Coronation Street? Coronation Street has been on for 50 years or some shit. But it's just a different model. Ricky Gervais didn't go to the BBC thinking that he was going to get something that was going to keep him working for the next decade.
Yeah.
It was, he was going to do a few short seasons of a show, and then they're going to go, okay, what else you got? And then he does Extras, just far better. Extras is great if you've never watched that. If you're streaming HBO or HBO Max, I think you can still get that.
We started watching it last week.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow. It's just...
yeah.
It's just because of the accent, quite honestly.
Put the captions on, man. I do it. Don't be ashamed.
Trust me, there's some things my wife watched, some English or Scottish shows. She does put them on. She's like, I can fucking understand them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, especially Peaky Blinders. I got to put the captions on for Peaky Blinders. Especially when, what's his name? Mad Max dude shows up. That dude's a fucking mumbler.
Mad Max?
Mad Max dude, Bane.
Oh,
what's his name?
Thomas Hardy? Is that the guy's name?
Yes. Tom Hardy.
I like the guy's style simply because I remember him being asked in an interview if he was gay, and his answer was what's the fucking matter?
Yeah.
I was like, thank you. Someone finally said it. It took 50 years for someone to go, who fucking cares?
I think it's a difficult question for an actor because they might say that, that's none of your business, but also use that as a chance to go, and there's nothing wrong with it even if I was, and I fully support whatever, instead of, which is giving an actual answer to a stupid question. If an actor is, pro-gay rights or whatever, that's fine. If that's their issue, if that's what they want to talk about, whatever. But if the question is about your sexuality, it deserves no answer at all. And that's the only way people are going to stop asking that ridiculous question.
As long as everyone I fuck is of a consenting age and is cool with it, who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember hearing that and going, hey, I like that guy's style. I don't know who he is, but I thought that was cool.
I'll watch anything with Tom Hardy in it. He plays the Cray brothers, big time London gangsters. Kind of London's version of Bonnie and Clyde, the criminals that were capturing headlines and became like superheroes. But they were twin brothers in real life. These were real life characters that he's playing.
He's going for an award. He's doing the twin thing.
Yeah, I think he deserved it for, yeah.
Didn't Mark Ruffalo just get an award for doing that?
Did he? He's got some projects that have been but I haven't checked them out.
I think he got an Emmy for the thing that he did where he played the brothers on HBO, where one of them had a mental...
Oh, okay, yeah. I gotta check that one out. Oh, one of them... Wait, he played twins and one of them...
Oh, no, one of them had mental issues and one of them didn't.
Yeah. Guaranteed award.
Yeah. I mean, he layered it there. Not only am I playing twins, but...
You put it on thick.
Yeah. One of them is schizophrenic.
Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
My name's Barry. I live right above you. I don't host parties. I host after parties. They're like parties, only louder and nobody goes home. You can see right here I ripped out all the carpeting because it was holding me back with my pogo stick. Man's got a pogo. Oh, I'm a prankster. I'll grease up a soda can and then when somebody grabs it, boom!
Progressive can't save you from your upstairs neighbor, but we can save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.